Hi, I'm Kalki and I'm presenting My Indian Life, brought to you from the BBC World Service. The episodes in Season 3 provoke a lot of emotions. They have been difficult stories, raw stories, stories that are painful and joyful. And it has been a privilege for me to bring them to you. And I hope that you will share them with your friends and also leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for listening. Hello, you've been listening to Season 3 of My Indian Life, and what a journey it's been. We've added another set of incredible people to the My Indian Life family. When we began this podcast, we set out to narrate stories that give you a glimpse of what it's like to be young and Indian in the 21st century. And I can hardly believe it, but the show is already 3 seasons old. And along the way, you and I have become acquainted with the life stories of so many remarkable people. So, we decided to go back and catch up with a few of our amazing young Indians from the previous 2 seasons and find out what happened next in their lives. What have they been up to after we met them last?
Hey, I'm Ishan Hilal. I'm a professional male belly dancer and I'm back on My Indian Life.
We met Ishan in the very first episode of this podcast. He's a belly dancer, a career choice that his parents didn't really approve of back in 2018. They didn't think belly dancing is appropriate as a profession for a man, and a Muslim man at that. But Ishan stuck to his choice and persevered.
I know when I'm dancing, I'm not doing anything wrong. Whatever you love from the bottom of your heart, that's your religion. Your religion cannot define you that what you should do and what you should not. If I am a dancer, that's my religion. I just want to be a good human being and a good performer, which I really want to be.
And now, we're in Season 3. A few years have passed. Has Ishan been able to break down the barriers with his family?
Hi, I'm Malika. I'm a theatre artist from New Delhi, and I'm back on My Indian Life.
When we met Malika Taneja in Season 1, she had this signature theatre piece called Thoda Dhyan Se, or Be Careful, a play in which she stands naked in front of her audience using the female body as a tool of protest.
Many people look at me. Many people don't look at me. Many people look down, look here, look there. Some people will happily look at my entire body and be unabashed about the fact that they are looking. I'm standing there with my body in the nude to say something.
Malika wanted to show the absurdity behind the idea that it was women who had to keep themselves safe from violence and rape. How has Malika's journey with this piece and her journey as an artist evolved over the years?
Hello, I'm Gadadhar Reddy. I work on carbon nanotubes to enable people to get to space. I'm back on My Indian Life with Kalki.
We met Gadadhar at the end of Season 2. He believes that one day he will take us all to Mars. When we last spoke to him, he was just getting started on his dream to leave Earth.
And what's not been done? Everyone's been talking of Mars, nobody's been there. So I want to be the first human on Mars.
That's what he said in the last season. How close is our Mars man to his dream today? Let's find out. This is Kalki Koechlin. From the BBC World Service, this is Kalki Presents My Indian Life, the podcast about being young and Indian in the 21st century. Season 3, Episode 10. What happened next? Since my last conversation with these 3 amazing people, the entire world as we knew it changed. Suddenly and without much warning, a global pandemic disrupted everyone's plans. Let's talk about this pandemic.
I know, right? It was a crucial time we all had.
How was it for everyone? What was going on?
I actually spent time in the lab. I was actually very good.
Oh, yeah? Do you have any problems with financing stuff, or how did you manage to survive during
So the major problems I faced were logistics. So we couldn't get stuff, everything was just stuck up, and the imports or some of the chemicals couldn't happen. So we instead used that time to actually make our new techniques to actually produce them right here.
To remind you, Gadadhar runs a startup called NoPo Technologies, short for Not Possible. They make carbon nanotubes, which he hopes will be used in space travel eventually. Basically, Gadadhar is building his own lightweight rocket to get to space. It's been a huge gamble.
Also, right after the pandemic, I found the perfect life partner.
Oh, wow! Congratulations! But perfect partner. Come on, like
right?
that's really lucky, yeah.
Yeah, so the last time I was talking to you, I was telling about how everyone would get scared the moment I said Mars.
Gadadhar's parents were worried that his plan to go to Mars might come in the way of finding a life partner. But luckily, the woman who would go on to become his partner didn't scare easily. Harshita was Gadadhar's junior from engineering college, but the two of them hadn't really interacted in college.
We met up fortuitously. Some aunt of hers was telling her details about guys, and suddenly my face flashed in her head. And then she just reaches out, and that's how we start a conversation.
Gadadhar wanted to be the one to tell her about his plan to go to Mars, but
This time, her dad dropped her off for a meeting and said, "See, Maya, this guy wants to go to Mars. You need to really talk to him." And I was like, "What? How does that happen?" And then in a conversation, I told her, like, "See, please don't listen to anything. There are a lot of interviews out there. You'll get scared of it. I'll just explain heart to heart on what I'm thinking about this."
well, Gadadhar's explanation worked. His perfect life partner, Harshita, didn't get scared, and in 2020, they got married. But that's not all.
And 3 weeks back, we had a baby.
What?
Oh
No,
my
you had a
God.
baby.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right, 3 weeks, so you haven't slept.
So it,
right?
it seems like the startup life kept me prepared for this.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't feel very different. It's like a new startup journey.
Yeah. The uncertainty, the not knowing when you have to get up next.
And he seems to listen to her when she speaks to him and says something. Or at least we are imagining that, but it's a nice thing for us to imagine.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, if she says, okay, sleep off, baby, he'll be like, okay, I'm sleepy.
Wow.
So we are happy with it.
Good. Touch wood. Malika, you've been very quiet. What about the pandemic for you?
Well, when the pandemic when it happened, when it got declared as this is now a pandemic, I was actually on tour and I was in Europe.
Malika was in fact touring with her piece, Be Careful. As the world was stopping in its tracks, the words Be Careful took on a whole new meaning in the pandemic.
It was a very violent, shocking, cutting off of life as one knew it, and just yanking back to literally getting onto the last flight back to India. Actually, all I wanted was not to be sent to institutional quarantine, and I just wanted to go home. And I think I've never wanted to go home so much, because really one was feeling the shutting of doors and shutting of hearts and shutting of people in that moment as one was coming back.
And when Malika did return home, that stopping and cutting off from her very livelihood provoked some soul searching.
I think all artists then went into, especially those who make live performances, went into a deep existentialist crisis because there was nowhere to go, there was no audience, there was no stage. And it was a moment where there was lots of anxiety about, okay, how are we going to earn a living? What is life going to look like now? Will I be able to do what I do? Is my life totally going to change now? And of course, one went through all of that, but also I realized how much my body needed to stop, how much it needed rest, how much it needed. And I guess the only way that rest would come is if there was a pandemic in the world and the world stopped and said, okay, now you sit at home, now not going anywhere and just do some me time.
Yeah, I see you nodding a lot, Ishan. You also felt this need for the body to rest, or you felt the isolation? What was it?
Being a hyper kid, I'm so hyper in life, and for me, it was like somebody has just put me into a cage. And being with family was very traumatizing for me, to be very honest, at that point of time. There was a constant pressure on me that, now what? That's why we used to tell you that, do something concrete and stable, what you're going to do with your life. The savings were going, and then there was no work at all. Being a performing artist, I realized it's too tough. I mean, it's a luxury to perform on stages and when people would come and see you.
So did you find ways?
Oh, yes. But then very gradually I realized that Zoom is the thing I have option right now. And then when I tried teaching online, I realized my potential. I realized my importance in people's life as an artist, that we actually have that tool, our art, which can change people's life drastically. I thought nobody would turn up for my online classes. I was teaching internationally, and I was so occupied then after 3 months in lockdown that I was waking up early in the morning for New York student. Then I was at night, I'm teaching somewhere at Chicago, and then Indian students. Of course, there was a really hard work. It's very hard for dancers to teach online.
Yeah, I cannot imagine teaching something practical like dance online. It would be like teaching acting online. And it was a similar story with Malika. As a performing artist, she also had to learn to adapt to the new normal.
I think the pace of my body and mind has shifted. A little bit of priority has shifted. What you want to do in life has shifted. And thankfully, I was able to find newer ways to still continue to do my work, continue to make theatre, continue to talk to people.
You were doing performances during that time.
Yeah. And it was really like, it was a big performance. We had 22 women perform on Zoom together, and we did it live, and we did it as theatre, and we reached many audiences. So I feel like one was able to find beauty nonetheless, which I think remains the most important thing. Like, if we are able to find a way to sing together, to see some beauty, to share a story, in spite of where we are, I think then one can carry on. And I think I'm grateful that I was able to find this.
Malika was not only able to find this beauty during the pandemic and adapt to the new situation, she was also well aware that 2022 marked the 10th anniversary of her play Be Careful, and that this too needed change and adaptation.
For 10 years, I've been performing the piece, and I'm really feeling like I've grown older with it. My body has changed with it. My mind, my being has changed, and so has the piece. This is what makes it a living, breathing organism. That's what makes it theatre.
So she had been thinking about where to take this piece next.
Performing something in the nude in this country is already seen as an act of recklessness. I don't think so. I think it's a risk. Of course, it's a risk. Risk is not a bad thing. As women, especially in this country, we risk daily. We risk every minute. We risk the moment we step out of the house, and for so many of us, even at home, just being is a risk. And now you are sitting and now, chewing all of this new material that's going to bleed itself into the work. Maybe it's going to get longer. But I'm really sort of looking forward to getting back on stage with it. It's been a while since I was able to find space for it. I don't have anything happening right now, but I'm going to start setting it up. But I'm really sort of like saying, okay, one last brouhaha, maybe. And then maybe, hopefully, I'll be able to just throw it open for other bodies to like occupy it, perform it, make it their own. I mean, I'm just one, I'm just one reality.
Well, I think I would be very excited to see Malika's Be Careful be performed by other bodies and different genders. It's also incredible to me the kind of things we've been forced to confront during the pandemic, in our art, our careers, and our relationships. I asked Ishan about how things are with his family.
Recently, there's this very popular Indian reality show called Big Boss. I came on that in a very recent season. And after that, things changed.
On that show, which has an incredible following in India, Ishan spoke about his struggle to find acceptance at home.
After the shoot aired and I came back to my home, and my mom was like, everybody's calling from the extended family, and they're calling me and saying, let him do whatever he wants to do. And I am shocked.
Other family members?
Yes, like all these uncle and aunts and all these, and they're just calling my mother and saying, let him do whatever he's doing in his life. Why do you guys do that to him? Because these are the people who used to call me and say, oh, who is bringing shame to all of you? What kind of a son he is? And then I told her, see, this is the moment I want to draw your attention towards that. The validation of me for you guys comes from these people. And this is something which I do not want. If you guys love me, accept me the way I am, I do not need anybody in this world. So if you guys are with me, I am just like perfect.
It's great to hear this news.
My mother never asked me, have you eaten? Or like, where are you going? When you'll be coming back? Never. But now she does. and it gives me immense joy. And I can't tell you how there's a lot of butterflies, goes around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's asking me. Even right now when I was coming for this, she was asking, have you eaten? Please eat something and then go home. And then what time I'm gonna come back?
It's really heartwarming to hear him talk about his mother and the fact that it's almost like they're falling in love again. And what about his dad? The last time we spoke, Ishan and his father weren't even on speaking terms.
There was this incident happened where they both were discussing about marriages, that what about the younger one, what about that one. Then he asked about me. So my mom said he always denies for the marriage. Then he said, make sure he's gonna marry somebody, we're not gonna leave him like this in this world. And I felt so touched when my mom shared this with me. It was like, oh, he doesn't talk to me, we do not share, we do not look at each other, but he cares about me.
So it's still at that
Oh,
place?
yes. The kind of a barrier he set from the very beginning. It's very uncomfortable, and it's next to impossible for me to hug him and say that I love you. I really, I don't know whether I love him or not, but definitely I respect him. Because now, since the time I have started earning and living on my own, I have realized this world is a crucial world. It's not easy to survive here. And being a father is one of the toughest thing in the world. And when you're a father, you're earning, you're keeping a family, and you're raising 4 kids, it's not an easy thing. It's a big thing. And when he did this job so effortlessly, I think respect is something which he deserves above all. But then there's not a single moment where I can go to him and tell him this thing. So, like, sometimes it's just been months that I haven't seen his face. It's weird.
While Ishan's professional world is getting bigger, it's also clear that small steps are changing his world at home. However, now that he's getting famous and has more people following his story, Ishan also feels the need to add a disclaimer every time he speaks about his family.
Actually, now I have to give clarification to people that, I do not hate my family. Because people think that I'm speaking out loud about all these issues which I've been through. People think that I hate my family. They kind of come across, oh, you can't be loyal to your parents. What should we expect? So loyalty from you, you're such a ill, sick person who hate. I was like, it's not about that. I need to give clarification to these people that I'm talking about the odds and the kind of sufferings I've gone through. But it's not about my parents. I don't hate them. I love them to the core.
It isn't easy to find that balance between what the world expects from you and who you really are. But I think that it is getting better and better for Ishan. I noticed all this while, as Malika and Ishan were talking about looking inward during the pandemic, that Gadadhar was silent and smiling. So I had to ask him what he was thinking. What he had to offer was a completely different take on the pandemic.
Like there's definitely a pre-pandemic mindset and a post-pandemic mindset for everyone. And to also become sensitive that the planet is also not going to be kind enough for whatever harm
Yeah.
we're
To
doing
just
it.
tolerate us forever. Is that partly why you have this ambition to go to Mars? Do you have no faith in humanity?
So, okay, so I think Earth is a very precious place because it has life. Like of this entire universe that we know of, there might be life somewhere, but we know for sure that there is life here. And the planet itself, it seems to behave like its own living organism. It seems to control different things, and when there's an imbalance, it starts balancing itself. So it's a beautiful place. And right now, we are creating a lot of imbalances. But at the same time, Earth has not always been like, this friendly place for humans. Like, we've actually carved it out into make it something that's more cozy and suitable for ourselves. Like, we've converted plants to grow and give us food the way we want it, even though that's not what their natural intent was. So we're also like a product of Earth, but we are blessed with skills that help us go beyond the planet.
Gadadhar wants to see if his skills can get him closer to another planet amenable to humans.
It's getting significantly closer because the work I've been talking about of creating these advanced materials that they're an essential feature, it's now getting more traction. And also along the way, some of the things that happened since the last time was I started working with a couple of friends in California to build a rocket. And that's going to be like the landing part for the Mars rocket. Like when it gets there to get down on the surface, that's what we're building now.
Wow. It's almost like listening to a sci-fi script. When I first met him, he offered to take me to Mars as well if he succeeds. Now Ishan is keen to join him too.
I'm actually very fascinated by this whole thing. So before sleeping, I actually listen to all these stories and things. What's happening? There's possibility on Mars. There's new planet called Proxima Centauri. We might can also go there, which is some really billion zillion light years away from Earth. And I'm curious, and I think Gatatha is the one now who's going to take me to Mars with him. Who's going to fulfill my fantasy.
Yeah. If you are going, make sure we're on your list.
I'll make sure everything's safe and then get you out of here.
Meeting the three of them really got me thinking that when we have the harshest experiences of our lives is when our strength is tested. And most of us do find ways to cope. And it got me thinking about the pandemic and how it leaves its mark on a generation. Some people cope by searching for answers out there and connecting with people, while others find answers by going inwards. But what is clear is that whether we look for answers by journeying out or inside of ourselves, it is better to do it together. The thing that makes the journey worthwhile is community, friendship, kinship, and love. It was a heartwarming conversation, and I was definitely feeling the love.
All the listeners who are listening here, Kalki is my family.
Aww.
Every time I see her, I feel, I actually even see my, parents like in ages, staying with them in under one shelter. I think the same goes with Kalki. I feel like I'm just meeting her like after a day or so because, she actually seems like a family to me now. It's such a pleasurable thing to see you guys, seriously. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be here in season 14 and 15 and 16 and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, drama will never be missing, that's for sure, in
Absolutely.
Ishan's life. No, but guys, really thank you for all being here because I also, it's always a challenge when there's more than one person and there's such different walks of life. But I found all of your paths crossed at some point in the conversation, and that gives all of humanity hope. So thank you.
Thank you.
And that's almost it for now. It is almost the end of season 3 of Kalki Presents My Indian Life. I said almost because it isn't quite. First, I've got something to ask you. What could it be? Ah, yes. I'm really hoping you've enjoyed listening to all the new stories. And if you have, please, 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 can you help spread the enjoyment far and wide? If you've listened to every episode over all 3 seasons, you've heard me say something similar before. You must know lots of people, friends, family, neighbors, college mates, colleagues. Please tell 5 of them all about Kalki Presents My Indian Life. Show them how to find it, and if they haven't listened to a podcast before, how to download it. And then ask those 5 people to find 5 people they know and do the same. And before we know it, the whole of India and then perhaps the whole world will be listening to Kalki Presents My Indian Life. If the app you use allows, please leave ratings and write reviews and ask your 5 friends to do that as well. And I'd love to see lots of lovely posts on social media. And now, that is it. Season 3 of Kalki Presents My Indian Life has been an all things small production for the BBC World Service. Thanks to all those who've contributed and have helped make the podcast. I'm Kalki Koechlin. Until next time, stay safe and happy, and thank you for listening.